Well, recently my wife and I took the kids out on our very first overnight camping trip. And two tools I took with me to process wood, food, do fire prep was the new Kershaw Deschutes Camp Hatchet and the Kershaw Camp 5 belt knife. And after a few days at the campsite and several times preparing firewood and kindling here in the backyard, I can tell you that this setup wouldn't even make my top 3 for tools that I would take with me the next time I go camping. Well, that's right, folks. Welcome back to another video. We had a great time camping with the kids. It was their first time out. We had a really good time, and it's definitely setting the precedent for many more adventures for years and years to come. And as I said, I took these two tools out with me because a few weeks ago, they showed up at my doorstep. Didn't even know that they were coming. Kershaw sent them over to me to test out and review. So I said, you know what? These are two camp tools designed for camping. Let's go see what they do at a campsite. And after having used them, I just don't see the level of performance to capability that not only the price tag is asking for each of these tools, but compared to what other tools I regularly take when I'm car camping or enjoying the outdoors. And so today I'm going to show you what these two tools have to offer, what are maybe some of the pros, but several of the drawbacks that I'm seeing with these designs, and going to run in a ton of competitive options that I would choose over this camp hatchet and this belt knife. So with that, guys, let's go ahead and jump on into it and see what these tools have to offer and what competitive options seem to knock these out of even being in my top 3 choices. All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump into the knife itself, give you some basic specs, and then run into competitive options and just kind of discuss why it's just not really connecting with me. So first off, we're going to look here at the D2 steel blade. It's a full tang construction. You got FRN handle scales, textured, bolted in with recessed screws, contoured nicely. You have a high flat or saber grind, which I like. There's no issue with that. Nice swedge there, kind of into a clip point design, very precise tip. Maximum thickness back here by this little row of jimping is 0.17, so just under 3/16 of an inch thick, and then that high grind. And D2 steel, it's going to hold its edge well. It's a little bit more rust resistant than like high carbons like 1095, and then it is going to come with a basic polymer sheath, drainage, hole, not ambidextrous, but it does have a nice button snap, good retention in there. It's a good sheath for the price, which is $60. So it's made in China, $60. That's about the going rate. I'm going to have some competitive options, what you would see for materials to design. So all of that in concept, you're like, okay, yeah, it might be a decent camp knife to carry, around the campsite to prepare food, whittling, carving, that type of stuff, or to carry on your hip and do some day hiking and that type of thing. There's some potential there. Well, really where the drawback for me is in the handle. The handle itself is going to be 4.375 inches long. It's going to be 1.1 inches high, and its maximum thickness is 0.7 on the handle. But what ends up happening because of this portion right here and then it tapering so short and narrow back here, no lanyard hole, just as a data point, it's long enough, but it feels like I'm holding a pencil. It is so narrow once you pass your secondary middle finger there that your pinky and your ring finger are constantly trying to find grip, and then it causes pressure and just never feels like you have a good solid grip, and it feels like you're trying to hold a pencil and then carve or cut with a pencil. And every other knife that I'm about to show you here is going to have a better, longer, fuller, more contoured handle. And so for me, honestly, it falls flat because of the very poor handle ergonomics. It's too narrow, it's too thin, and tapers too small back here at the back end to give comfort, and it causes immediate fatigue in your hand. And honestly, the only place where I really saw any success in cutting and enjoyment was really in food prep. My wife used it to prepare some food for us, and she said that it cut the food well, and she didn't really mind it because she wasn't really putting any pressure on it, and you're holding it more almost in like a pinch grip. Well, then that's fine. But if you're actually going to do any sort of bearing down and woodscraft of any kind, I did not enjoy it at all, and immediately was like, give me one of my other knives. I don't want to use this for any types of woodscraft. And so just to show us for price to comparison, this is Chinese made, but it's D2 steel, steel will, Roamer 300, massively larger, as you can see there. I mean, this is a full-blown survival knife, full choil, much longer blade, going to be a thicker stock, thicker spine, way bigger, fuller handle, much more ergonomic. I can do every camp task under the sun and love doing it. It's not going to fatigue my hand, going to come with a polymer sheath. Between $55 and $65. So for a camp knife, if you were to ask me, hey, which one would you go with? I'm going to go with the steel wheel Roamer every time. I'm going to get way more capability out of this tool than on the Kershaw Camp 5. And if we're looking more for just light duty food prep, something like the old Hickory from Ontario, USA made, high carbon steel, 20 bucks with a leather sheath. You can throw that on your belt, do any type of fine carving. It's not really durable enough to do any sort of like heavy duty batoning or anything like that, but it's way thinner at I think 0.09 and much longer in the blade length by about an inch. Much better for food prep, much better for fine carving, and it's going to have a much fuller, bigger, just beefier handle that's going to feel a lot more ergonomic, and it's going to be almost a third the price. And then just quickly running in, more ergonomic knives for woodscraft. Any type of more bushcraft is going to be much thicker, rounder, fuller. Cold steel has a lot of options out there. Obviously the steel is not quite as good as D2 steel, but so what? Get one of these for all your woodscraft, get the Ontario for all of your, food prep and those type of things, and you're good to go. You have two knives for less than the cost of the Camp 5. And guys, I just want to take a quick time out to invite you to subscribe if you're not a current subscriber here at Gideonstactical. I'm throwing up videos like this every single week, in-depth reviews, content, giving you data so that you can make wise choices on your gear and decision making, so you're not wasting your money when you're looking for tools to get the job done when you're camping, outdoors, everyday carry type of activities. So it's because of you that these videos can continue to happen. And with that, let's go ahead and get back to it. Okay, so now on to, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, the Deschutes Hatchet. Now, I had a lot of use with this, both in the backyard, splitting kindling for backyard campfires that we do regularly, but also when I was doing the camping, splitting wood and chopping down pine. So pretty soft wood, but I got a good feel for the ergonomics, the splitting, as well as chopping capability and the balance. So it's a well-balanced tool. It's 14 inches. It is a full tang construction. It's gonna come all the way down that handle right there. You got a good, contour, innovative sheath that I'll look at here briefly with you. And when it came to chopping, it does well because of the thin head. It's going to be 0.24 inches, or just a hair under a 1/4 inch thick. So you're getting a good chopping surface with 3.5 inches of cutting edge here. You got a nice relief edge into that nice gradual face, so it's not really abrupt, which would cause it to not bite into the wood as well. It might split slightly better, but that would cause biting issues when chopping. So for a chopper, if you're just chopping, it does really well. It's going to act actually kind of more like a machete or a large knife, but have a better weight balance and more ergonomic feel than most knives in that regard. So as a chopping tool, I was pleased with its performance, but as a splitting tool, it comes down to the fact that it's just a less than 1/4 inch thick head. You just can't split very well. Particularly anything larger than about your forearm, it's not really going to perform well. You're going to have to spend a lot more energy. You're going to have to hit and strike several more times. And that's part of what you do when you're camping, and what a hatchet is intended to do is to split well. So thin, smaller wood, sure, you can split it, and if that's all you need to do, then hey, maybe this is the right tool for you. But any sort of larger, even what you're seeing here, like let's say 4-inch, log, something like that, not going to be able to split, and you're going to take a lot of energy and a lot of effort to try and crack those into smaller kindling pieces that any of the other 3 tools I'm about to show you can do better in. Now again, as a data point, this is running about $60, and what I'm about to show you, all 3 options come in below that price point. So the 2 other things I want to touch on before we roll in those competitive options is that this is 3CR13 steel out of China, Chinese made again. And so that steel I've used several times. It's a budget, tool steel. It's stainless. I would have preferred it to be like 1050 or 1055 steel. 1075 would have been a lot better in my opinion. I prefer high carbons over stainless steels on my hatchets and larger hacking tools. I don't really like stainless steel, and particularly in those budget formats. Now, for 3CR13 steel, I think they did a pretty decent heat treat. It didn't roll as quickly or have any sort of issues in edge retention compared to some other tools from like Schrade and other ones that I've seen with that exact same steel, or even Gerber. So it seemed to hold its edge slightly better than that. It could just be heat treat, could be edge geometry, but I wanted to give you that data point. And then this sling kind of sheath option is innovative. It does work well if you want to just throw it over your shoulder. It's very adjustable. It attaches not only to the head, but then to the back handle right here, and then you can pop it off. But it's very adjustable, removable. You could take the strap off completely if you just want like a scabbard kind of format, because it's just riding in a tub or something like that. So it's definitely the most carryable out of the other hatchets I'm about to show you. If you were to be trekking around trying to find firewood, that is a benefit, and that's an innovative feature that I did like in the design as well. So really, it comes down to price point and splitting capability that cause some issues. So the first one I want to run in for about $25 to $30, usually 25 bucks on Amazon. The Fiskars X7, going to be the same length, same ergonomic feel, not a full tang, but I mean, I've had this for years. You look up reviews, you got to really work to try and crack the polymer on this. Much thicker head, more balanced at the head, so for chopping and splitting it's going to do significantly better just because of the weight balance on the tool. The head back here is better for pounding in tent pegs. This Kershaw does have a little bit of jimp, so it will grab a little bit on that, but I mean, it's just pure physics, guys. It's a narrow piece of metal and you're trying to hammer in tent pegs, which is what I did with this, and I was missing a lot, and it just wasn't as, you know, wouldn't be my first choice to hammer in tent pegs when you're camping. Then next up, I'm gonna have a 14-inch Estwing. Love this tool. Been around for decades. 1050 or 1055 steel, I can't remember. USA made, leather stacked handle, much thicker head. This one will be a full tang as well, which is good, but because the head is much thicker, again, it's going to have a balance up there. It's going to split better on par, or just slightly less chopping just because of edge geometry, and obviously you can work with the face, you know, and sharpen it up a little bit better, which is what I did, to at least be on par with the Kershaw when it comes to chopping. And now we're finally starting to come into a similar price point, usually around like $45 to $55. This is a 16-inch full tang Estwing, again, USA made, very ergonomic handle, good, you know, nylon sheath. Heavier for sure. This guy's going to come in at 25 ounces. I think this is, I can't remember off the top of my head. I'll try and annotate it in what the Estwing is, but it's significantly heavier. Which, when again, camping, if we're talking about a pack axe, then maybe those smaller tools would be better options and more competitive. But if I'm car camping, what's an extra pound? I'm just walking across the campsite to go chop down trees and, you know, split wood and do whatever. This is in no way even close in performance to the Kershaw. Significantly better splitter, significantly better chopper, significantly better. You barely even have to use energy to split and chop and do whatever you need to do. With this Estwing, still going to be cheaper, USA made. So folks, this setup right here is about $120. And I appreciate that Kershaw sent it to me, but I've always got to be honest with you, the viewers, and show you both positives with some of the aspects, but also a lot of the drawbacks, and why for $120, in my opinion, these would not even be in my top 3 list of tools I would pick out from what we have seen today. Well, folks, there you have it. I hope that this video has been fun and entertaining, but also giving you the data that you need. You know, maybe one of these 2 tools does connect with you. It's right up your alley. It's exactly what you're looking for. But for me, there are just aspects to each design, what they are asking for in price point to what else is out there for similar price or even less, that just don't even make it on the radar the next time I'm going to go car camping in a few weeks with the family. I'm going to choose the other tools that I've shown you today over these 2 tools for the things that we've discussed. So look forward to hearing your guys' feedback. What is your experience? Maybe if you already own these tools, if there's any other data that you need or questions that you have, throw in the comments below. I look forward to answering them, as well as the other members here at Gideonstactical. I'm sure will be helpful in answering your comments. And we just appreciate you guys. Check out the other video popping up. And again, thank you for subscribing, become part of the GT family if you're not already, and you regular subscribers are awesome. It's because of you that this this channel can continue to exist. So you're awesome. Always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared, and we'll see you out there.